Hi, good morning. Today is the 22nd. Steve and Quinn went to the Children's Museum and it seems like they're having a lot of fun. I just showered, so my hair is all scruggly. I am home alone right now so that I can wrap presents and do some tidying if there's time. The first thing, I have to see, I'm like, how much time do I have? The first thing is a treasure hunt for all of the presents because they're all over the house. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get to wrapping. I was like thinking, where's my wrapping paper? This morning we got up around 7. Quinn is very, very consistent in that regard. Got up, had some breakfast, hung out, went upstairs, went downstairs. Quinn is in a very like sampling things place. He just wants to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I also think that having this extended break is going to make him more bored, but we're gonna have Christmas, so he's going to actually get new toys, and we can do, I haven't done a toy rotation since I recorded probably like a week and a half ago, but for now I'm going to open my advents, and then advent singular, make some tea, and then go on my little treasure hunt, find all the presents, and get to wrapping. It's my Rainbows and Sprinkles advent. 22. Ooh. It's like purple, blue, yellow. Can you hear that dripping sound? Kind of sounds like tapping. I think because it is much warmer today, and by warmer I mean like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, I think that something is melting on the roof and tapping on our chimney. Okay, I'm going to go and try to find all of the gifts.
The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay, keeping.
Do we think that Laura is supposed to be there, or if that's a misprint, that was in some like template, because like this is octopus, treasure chest, and turtle. What's going on down here? I'm confused. It's Nickelodeon. So just finished wrapping. Our Christmas is buying gifts for children and for one Secret Santa person per person. So I have a Secret Santa, Steve has a Secret Santa, we'll each have one, etc. And then one gift each for each of the kids in the family, anyone under 18. And then I'm not bringing, it's bothering me. We're not bringing Quinn's gifts. We're doing some gifts from us on Christmas Eve, or I guess it'll all be on Christmas. I don't know when it is because he's 1.5. But we have some gifts from us and some from Santa in the stocking. And then for Quinn, we're just gonna do all of his gifts on Christmas Day. Actually, a lot of things that we have for him are things that we thought, okay, for sure, we should get this for the flight because we're flying to Texas on December 31st to visit my grandpa. So we need to have stuff for him to do on the plane ride. So these 4, this wouldn't fit in the stocking. are like his main gifts from us, and everything else is going to come from family. And then there's a couple small things that are basically more like little travel gifts. Can we just pause for a moment and appreciate how big and beautiful my monstera leaves are? And also a plant that I feel like does not get that much love. I got this guy from Target a while ago. And it was pretty cheap, and it did the thing where it was like, you know, watch it explode with leaves, and you can hand some to your parents and all of your family. Literally, that's what it said on the thing. And then it died right away, and it turns out, oh, it didn't die because it's still here, as you can see. Turns out it's a big baby about moisture and water, and so it goes meh the second you're not watering it. But look, it's come back. Look at these big round leaves. There's a couple that are dying. That's probably because it's cold and they're like pressed against the window. But I'm like, what is happening here? But look, we got a new little guy. But look at these big happy leaves. They love the sun. Love the sun. Got all the presents wrapped. Steve's gonna put them in the car. We're gonna get the car prepped probably this afternoon after Quinn wakes up from his nap, and we're gonna do some outside time. Finally, it's warm enough for some outside time. I'm in bed with Nero. We are good to go on our gifts. Steve and Quinn got back from the Children's Museum, and they had so much fun. And Steve said Quinn was so tired that he was falling asleep in the car on the way home, and we don't let him sleep in the car unless we're like on a trip. Honestly, that's like our plan when we drive up north, because it's going to be like a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive, depending on how many stops we make to like let him move around and stuff. And we're really hoping we either get there early enough for him to just take a nap right when we get there, or take a nap in the car. But he's only ever taken like a 20-minute nap in the car, and so we do not let him nap in the car when he has a regular nap at home, because that would throw the whole schedule off, and then he would be upset and everybody would have a terrible day. So we keep him awake when he is going to have a nap soon. So he was so tired, did his little nap routine. He was so precious and so cute. He wanted so many family hugs, and he wanted kisses, and he wanted to hang out with, he wanted me to stay in there, but Steve is put down for bedtime, and so even if he had wanted me in there, he would have been upset that Steve ultimately was not putting him down. Like that's the routine. So he's done for his nap. I'm in the process of tidying. I'm gonna wait till he wakes up from his nap to vacuum, even though I'm sure it would be fine. I just feel better about it when he's awake, and plus he likes the vacuum. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna get some couple extra hours of sleep in, and I'll see you all later. Oh, you wanna wear Elmo? Yes. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bye. So Quinn and I are doing a little walk. Steve's prepping the car for our trips, basically. In the next couple days, the car was messy. Yeah, big truck. The car was messy. If you have kids, you know. So he's doing that. Quinn and I are on a walk. It's again, much warmer. It's about 0 degrees Celsius, 32, 31, 32 Fahrenheit. So much nicer, downright balmy compared to the last few days. So we're just getting a little movement in, and yeah, then we'll be having some dinner. Hello, it's 9 o'clock. Oh man. So after Quinn got up from his nap and I got up from my nap, we hung out around the house. Steve went and cleaned out the car, and I hung out with Quinn inside. We tidied up in here a bit, I vacuumed, etc., until we decided to go outside. And it's so funny because he wanted to go outside, but he did not want to get in his winter gear, so we had a little bit of a fight with that, but once we had the gloves on, it was okay. And Quinn and I went outside, as you will have seen, and it was really fun. We got to walk around. We did a mile loop. He walked for probably half of it. Boots are so much harder to walk in than shoes, you know, like they use muscles more intensely. We only had a couple battles with the gloves where they are not coming off. They are very, very like secure. But he was not pleased because he wanted to like grip things, and I'm like, buddy, you got to build that grip strength. We got to see some fire trucks, and he got his inaugural sledding on our big hill in the middle of our cul-de-sac. I mean, it's really steep, so you don't need like a sled or anything, but I couldn't film it because I was putting him up there because he couldn't climb up. But I was putting him up there, and he was sliding down, and he was laughing his whole freaking head off. He thought it was so great. So I'm excited to take him sledding. After we got back in, we had dinner, which was pizza, and he ate something else. I cannot remember. But we had dinner, and then after that, we needed to go pick up a Target order because I'd ordered like last minute things that we need to cover us over this break. And part of my order went to the nearest Target, and then part of my order went to a different Target, which I think is my fault, but I think I want to say what happened is that like my default store is the one that's a little bit further away because it's a super Target, and the one that's a little bit closer is not. But okay, so we went and picked up our order from a closer Target, which had the bulk of our stuff. And then we drove to the other Target. Oh my God, Quinn was not happy about stopping and then starting again. We drove to the other Target. And when I went to pick up the order, it was literally Cheerios. It was one thing. But then we also had Cheerios in my other bag, and I definitely didn't add 2 Cheerios. And so it's a waste of my time. Wild. And also, I'm just imagining the worker being like, you did a pickup order for 1 box of Cheerios. So we just walked around Target for a little bit. Quinn played a little bit, but of course it's like last minute shoppers, and so, you know, it was pretty busy. The Lego aisle, you guys, was freaking just empty. That was crazy. Once we got home, Steve needed to go record his podcast, and so Quinn and I gave Quinn a bath, and then we hung out for a little bit, and then I put him to bed, which unfortunately, unusually, he seemed like he was down, and then he like woke up, I think. Like, it had only been like a few minutes, but he seemed like he was basically down, and then he appeared to kind of wake up, and he just didn't want the blanket on. And so he like, it's pitch black in his room, okay? So he was able to maneuver getting it off, but then when he laid back down, he like couldn't figure out his orientation, and so he was perpendicular to the bars, and that's made him start crying. This wouldn't be as big of a deal, except even though I'm on vacation, I know that people are gonna be screaming at me, but I am on vacation, and yet there was one student, and they're not actually a student, they're a student in my course, but they are a staff member, was really, really struggling in a pretty challenging course that I have. She like just did not understand what was being asked of her or how to execute it in the environment. And so I offered to meet with her because I'm gonna be off for 3 weeks, and yeah, it was just so much easier for me to do it than have anybody else do it. And she, I guess, she's a new employee, she told me. So we met via Zoom. She's a new employee, and she was supposed to finish this by tomorrow. Like, it was supposed to be done by tomorrow, which is freaking wild. Like, honestly wild. So I just met with her. So it was just like, I'm meeting with her and I have to go deal with my toddler. And so what I did is I just took the blanket off of, like, just put it away, and I put him down. But you guys, he never does this. Normally, if he is having an issue and he needs to be, like, soothed, like, okay, back up. Quinn is an independent sleeper. So we do our bedtime routine, we put him to bed, we tell him we love him, blah, 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 close the door, and he's able to settle himself. Like, he's fine. Once in a while, depending on if he's leaping or if he's just feeling really separation anxiety, maybe he doesn't feel good, maybe he's really sensitive, I don't know. Like, there's lots of reasons. But it's not that often. He'll start wailing, and that means that we need to intervene. And he usually just likes to be rubbed on his back. Like, there's a lot of times where he'll be, like, screaming his head off. A lot of times, as in a lot of the times that this happens, and you go in and you rub his back, and he is asleep in, like, 1 second. Like, he'll stop crying the second you open the door, you know. Like, he is like, oh, thank God, my comfort is here, and then he'll fall asleep. And this time, when I went in there, he stood up and, like, was from tears, and he wanted me to hug him, and oh my God, my poor baby, he wanted me to pick him up. So I did. I picked him up and I soothed him for a while, and then rubbed his back, but then I did have to set him back down because I literally had her on Zoom. I couldn't be rubbing his back for 15 minutes, you know. So he had a couple minutes of being sad, but it was just a couple minutes, then he was asleep and he's fine. But so I did that, and then I walked her through the rest of this course, and that took an hour. So it's 9 o'clock. I have not had any fun time for me, and now I'm going to edit. But after that, I'm going to get to knitting and just chilling and watching stuff and having a good night. So thank you for hanging out with me. Sorry I didn't get a lot of footage of all of the things that we were doing. It was chaotic, but it was a good day.